Well, we'll get started, see if anybody shows up. If not,
I'll still keep going.
mhm.
I'm gonna talk whether they want to listen to it or not. Oh, this thing says I'm live, y'all. Y'all caught some live right there. Hot mic moment. We sitting here talking about there ain't nobody in here, and she said, "Well, we'll go ahead and get started. See if anybody shows up, and if not, well, man, I said I'm gonna keep going whether there's anybody in there or not. I don't care if I run you all away. So be it. I don't care. It's my channel. This is what I got to say. Everybody else can say what they want to say, whether it's true or not. There's a lot of falsehood out there too. I'm here to tell you.
Yeah.
You know, the sad thing is all the ones that are out there listening to the falsehood thinking it's true when it ain't, because they prefer the lie to the truth because they think the lie is the truth and the truth is the lie.
Mhm.
And trust me, folks, those of us out there who ain't been turned over to a lame duck brain can tell the difference. Sorry, not sorry, that's just how it is.
Yep.
Y'all come in, y'all come in. If you don't, you don't. It'll be a video. I'll be sitting here talking. She's going to do a cooking video when we're done.
Mhm.
You know, at one point was talking about Michelle Wu. She had been found connected to the CCP because she got donations from a group that is from the CCP. I mean, she working for China. The first thing I got hit with, well, the color of her skin doesn't mean anything. She was this, she was. Where did I say anything about color of her skin? All right, she's of Asian descent. I don't care. What I care is she cares more about illegal aliens and getting money from China in order to win her election, and then try to claim that that city is hers and that federal government ain't allowed in. Get rid of a national security threat. Basically, she's talking for China, saying we own this now. Personally, I think every uh, Chinese citizen needs to be booted out. All those farms, they need to be booted out. There shouldn't be any foreign country, especially an enemy country, should own an inch of American land. I mean, that's just common sense, folks. You're allowing the enemy in on your soil. You know, it's like putting a rattlesnake in your bed and thinking it ain't going to bite you. Yeah, it's going to bite you and it's going to hurt. It might kill you. So, you know, but I thought that was funny when someone who thinks with the leftist ideology speaks the leftist talking points because that's all they got. That's what they've been told to say. When they ain't got nothing else, they go for the race card. Basically, I was accused of being a racist because they saying I'm looking at skin because, well, the color of their skin don't mean. Who said anything about the color of their skin? You did. That makes who the racist. But if you got to bring up race into it rather than standing on the issue, then you're the racist. You're the one who's thinking about race. I wouldn't care if you was baby crap yellow with dots of green polka dotted all over you. You got a decent heart and mind, and you're for your nation, loyal to your nation, devoted to your nation, and the people in your nation, the citizens of your nation. You good people. Hi, Melinda. You'll see there's not very many people here today. I've run them all off. These people just don't like the truth. And the only thing you've got to come back at me with, well, the color of their skin has nothing to do with it. I didn't say nothing about the color of their skin. But you did. I still love you, wouldn't want anything bad to happen to you, but, need to get your mind right. Quit listening to the leftists that are going to give you your talking points. Grow a brain, think for yourself. It's amazing. Otherwise intelligent people. But you bring up politics and Trump, their brain just totally disappears and melts. And they go off of what they've been told to say. And won't look at anything. That's right, Melinda. We all bleed red. And we all get called to God, whether we answer him or not. By that standard of bringing race into it because you got nothing else, you'd call God the ultimate racist. He not only believed in segregation, you couldn't wear cotton and wool at the same time back in Moses' day. Of the 12 tribes of Israel, one tribe could not marry into or with somebody from another tribe. They were all Israelites. But God didn't allow that. There's a reason for that. God made each race. God made each race for a purpose. He made each race slightly different. When you start mixing the races, just like with cars, you start mixing parts of this car, parts of that car, they're totally different makes. Not everything's going to work right. Same with the human body. Not everything's going to work right. And then you get medical situations like we do today, where there's been mixed races and been mixed so bad, they have an extremely hard time matching blood and matching organs. And sometimes these people are losing their lives because there's nothing or nobody out there that can be a donor because they've been mixed so much. It's impossible to get a match. That's why God didn't allow this tribe over here to marry with anybody from this tribe over here. And that was all 12 tribes. So under that line of thinking, somebody would think God the ultimate racist. There's always a reason. Now, that said, over there, there've been all sorts of people married of different races and everything like that. And babies born would not be here if God did not allow it. Because he has a purpose for each one. So, I just thought that funny that talking about Michelle Wu having gotten money from the CCP, so she's working for the Chinese. Her skin color got brought up as a defense. I wasn't talking anything about race. You got that, Melinda? I know I'm a Heinz 57. I've got Cherokee in me, all sorts of European nations. There's no, my grandpa had a thing for black women, so you never know. There might be some of that in me too. But, I'm not pure white. I got some brown to me. It ain't very dark, but that's not pure white. That's got some brown. So, I mean, Biden got loose and was out there doing a speech, and he's talking about colored kids on the school bus. Well, I was a colored kid too. I got some brown in me. But it shows who the racist is. He out there wobbling around and people trying to say he's sharp as a tack. Dude's mind is gone. They trying to say he's sharp as a tack. They haven't had Secret Service and Dr. Hill guide him around like a little kid. But they want to say he's sharp as a tack. Mainstream media wanting to say, hello, Evan, wanting to say that, he's all that and telling everybody that he's sharp as a tack. Well, we could all see he's wobbling around up there. Oh, but no, he's sharp as a tack. Yeah, right.
Sharp as a dull tack. I'd say Jack, maybe.
That's true. I'm more well endowed than Ron Jeremy. And John Holmes combined.
Piggy gonna make you laugh.
And I know I ain't swimming no barracuda with my little bitty goldfish. But if Joe Biden's as sharp as a tack, I can say I'm more well endowed than John Holmes and Ron Jeremy combined. And some of y'all know who I'm talking about. But yeah, you get talking politics and people's minds just melt with Trump derangement syndrome, Elon Musk derangement. I would say EDS with Elon Musk, but some people might get confused as to what I'm talking about. Yeah, and that's the thing on Elon, it's kind of funny. Who's complaining about Elon? Democrats. But why? He's just auditing the books and making, going through and cleaning up a mess. What business would not want somebody that's that smart to go through and find fraud, waste, and abuse? Ain't me. Joe. Fix it for you.
Hi, Joey. Hey, Amy.
But the Democrats are all up in arms about it because he's finding the fraud, waste, and abuse. And like Elon said, the ones guilty of fraud, waste, and abuse, like Eddie Fraudster, they have a tail. You can tell which ones are doing the fraud, waste, and abuse. Why? Because they're the ones complaining the most about you finding it. Who's doing the most complaining about them finding it? The Democrats. 2 + 2 = 4. It ain't rocket science. Ginger.
Hi, Ginger.
So, and then they didn't want the audit to happen because they knew Trump would have somebody smart enough to go through and find it. That's why they didn't want them doing it. And then when they discovered it was going to be Elon and his bunch of brainiacs, they really didn't want it to happen because they knew they were going to be found out. They all up in arms about A lot of folks got rich off them tariffs, causing the stock market to go wicky wacky. Well, people with any sense know stock market, you buy low, you sell high. They saw the opportunity coming up that things were going to go low. Oh. Well, it don't matter if anybody likes it, if anybody don't like it, it don't matter if anybody watches it. I don't care anymore. I'm going to speak the truth, and if you can't handle the truth, you need to go bye-bye. And someone once told me I need to quit with the BS. What BS? I'm telling the truth. It's out there. And what's funny is you can show it to them in black and white. They've got the receipts. They say, oh, well, they faked that. No, they didn't. They faked the Steele dossier. Oh, that's a conspiracy theory. No, that got proven. The Chinese virus came from China. China was backing it. That's been proven. Fraud, waste, and abuse. That's been proven. Biden's mind is gone. That's been proven. All you got to do is watch him walk. Or try to. Asleep all the time. She finally hit the like button. Well, all right. Thank you, Ginger. I appreciate that. And that's what's crazy. But the leftist media will tell these folks that, oh, it's not that. It's not that. It's not this. It is this. It is that. And they'll believe them in spite of the black and white hard copy proof that's out there to be seen. All right, Amy. Okay. Right back. You should be back now. I keep hearing a rumbling out there. Sound like a big truck. We get them sometimes. Ginger, I think he was watching it. I don't blame him. I just leave that right there. That's his to watch anyhow, so I mean, come on. So, you just tough out of luck on that one, girlfriend. There's one decision the Supreme Court made 7-2 against, dealing with all that getting rid of the illegal stuff and everything. Well, the Supreme Court just showed me that they're anti-American. As far as I'm concerned, the military needs to step in, just clear them all out. The proof of them being anti-American is in their actions. Military needs to go, clear them all out, and actual American patriots need to be put in. That may happen anyway pretty soon, because there's one judge up there been found to be connected to some kind of elitist judges group. There's one building of them here, and there's a sister group of them over in England. Guess who they're backed by? George Soros. Oh, what could possibly go wrong? That means George Soros has a say in the way they decide. That means they need to be yanked out of there by their heels. And people that can't be bought put in there. Personally, I think some of those jobs need to be filled by people who can't be bought by money, can't be bought by threats, because they ain't got no family to be threatened with and all that. or anything else that might be a conflict of interest when they go to do their opinions. All these federal judges need to be yanked out by their heels because they're trying to usurp presidential powers. Like that guy that killed that mom of 5. They're more worried about his due process, which he got due process twice. He's been to 2 courts. Was proven to be MS-13 both times. Had a order of deportation on him. Oh, but being in that prison down there, his life would be in jeopardy. Folks, I'm sorry, I don't care who you are. If you do stuff to go to prison, you're going to wind up in places where you might have your life in jeopardy anyway. I don't care. I don't wish no bad on nobody, but, the Bible says, you choose to live by the sword, you'll die by the sword. And you bring it on yourself. Don't go out there doing all sorts of heinous stuff and acting like a big old bad A. And then want to cry that your life might be in danger if you go to this prison or that prison. Oh, protect me. Get down in there and deal with it, you sorry sucker. Troy Sutton. But here's the thing I'm seeing on that. They don't really care about his due process. What they're caring about is trying to usurp presidential powers away from the presidential office through the court system. President Bukele down there in El Salvador said they had that problem too. They impeached the judges, got them out, got rid of the problem. That's what we need to do here. Because that's what's happening here. Everything else is failed, so they're going to try doing it through the court system. They laws of presidential powers have been invoked, and now they're trying to usurp that authority. And that's more about what it's about than that piece of trash's due process. It ain't got a thing to do with his due process. I'll guarantee it. I speak stuff, you watch. It'll come out. I've been saying all along, China's been behind a lot of this stuff. Guess what's been coming out? China's been behind a lot of this stuff all along. I've been right. So if I dare to speak it, you can about bet it's going to come out. So there's something else I was listening to earlier I was going to talk about. Can't remember it right offhand. I didn't go to bed till 5 o'clock this morning. Stayed up to about, got up at about 10:30, 11 o'clock. And stayed up to about 2:33. Lay down for a little while to get a little nap before coming live. And I'm still a little tired. Yesterday, day 4, I had 2 pots of coffee. Equal 1 pot for most of y'all because I got a little bitty pot. So, think that might have had a little something to do with it. Too much caffeine. I was making up for 2 or 3 days where I didn't have none. I need to find me some balance in there. Might go back to what I was doing. Make me a pot. Have 1 cup. Save the rest of that pot for the next day. And then drink that. And then the next day make a fresh pot and do it again. That does 2 things. It limits how much caffeine I'm taking in. I get a little bit of caffeine every day. It makes the coffee last a lot longer. I already make it last a pretty good while as it is. I go back doing that. I'll make a regular container of coffee, last me 2.5, 3 months. Right now, as it is, doing the measurements I'm doing now, I'll make it last 1 to 2 months. I think I might start doing that. Make my container last 3 months. It's $20 a container divided by 3 months. That's not bad on coffee intake. See, what would that be? That'd be uh, $6 to $6.50 a month for coffee. Love that one reel somebody shared with. I think it might have been Elaine. Was talking about how Gen Zs have discovered being able to make their own coffee at home instead of paying 10, 15, 20 bucks for Starbucks. What an amazing thing. How did we ever survive without their genius? Yeah, they think they're just discovering that. They think they've just now discovered it's possible. Folks been doing it for hundreds of years. Brewing their own at home. Saves a lot of time and money.
See, Troy's in there.
Troy's in there, Joe's in there, Melinda's in there, and Ginger's in there.
All right.
Amy was in there. She said she'd be right back. I hadn't seen whether or not she's back yet.
I hadn't seen it. I made it back in here.
Amy, if you ain't back in there yet, right back does not apply. That's all right. You can watch what you missed later on if you're a mind to. So anyway, yeah, I thought that was funny. I brought up Michelle. We were talking to somebody and mentioned that she was working for China because she got $300,000 for her campaign to win her election to be mayor up there. And the first thing I get hit with in response to that, well, the color of her skin doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything. Folks, that's hilarious. I did not say one thing about race. I was talking about who she's working for. But race was the first thing I got hit with in response, implying I was a racist. I didn't bring up race, you did. So, who's the racist? Usually that finger that points at you, it's got all these pointing back at you. The one that points the finger at somebody, they got these three right here pointing back at them. You know, you tell somebody pointing that finger at you. They're the ones that bring it up and make that part an issue. That wasn't a part of the issue for me. The issue for me was who they was getting money from and who they working for. I don't care the color of your skin. I don't care if you got a slit or a stick. What's up here and what's in here? If your heart don't beat for America and for American citizens and for the American way, you don't need to be here. You know, if you can take this and get that out of it, your mind has been twisted. Of course, sad thing is, there have been so many people taught communist ways for so long, they believe that communist ways or America's ways. There she is. She's back. You know, you've gone long enough there, Amy. Right back doesn't apply. You know, it's kind of like Southern goodbyes. You outside, you on the porch, you saying bye to everybody. They saying bye to you. They're inching towards the car, and then you get talking about something else again, and then you wind up saying bye again. This, that, and the other thing. You know, what should have been 30 seconds winds up being another 30 minutes to an hour. That must be the kind of right back you was meaning. You know I love you. But anyway, like I said, you know, if you be talking about this and somebody else gets that totally unrelated out of that, their mind twisted up. They've been taught communist ways for so long, they don't know how to use deductive reasoning. They don't know how to be logical or rational. All they got is what they've been told to say by the propaganda machine, mainstream media, and other leftist media. And they won't listen to anybody else. They don't want to know the truth. They don't want to sit there and think and compare the two. They're not mentally capable of adding 2 plus 2. What's worse is they don't want to. As far as I'm concerned, they've abdicated their own sovereignty because they've let somebody else think for them, and then they repeat what they've been told to say. Well, Melinda, that is true. That can take a minute. You know, especially you get to that age where you got that stop and start, and the stop happens real quick, and the starting back up is kind of difficult. Some of y'all may know what I mean. Between my age and the nerve damage, I've got that in spades. That's why I do me some sippy sip Friday and Saturday. It helps the other side of that equation move a little better. So, well, folks, I got my sockets in. Let's see. Yeah, that's the big one. Y'all gonna say, big one? They both big. Well, they are both big. I'm not sure which one it is, 33 or 36. Saw one video said 33, so I know it said 36. So we got me both. All right, that other one had an open end on it. This one right here don't. Well, let's see if we can't solve that. That's the 33. And it's an impact version. And yeah, it's heavy. That's the 36. It's amazing what 3 millimeters can do. That's a big socket. It's 1/2 inch drive, so I can put it on my impact if I need to. But the way I see that filter housing move on those couple of videos, I might need to I might can use my impact. I just have to hold the housing while I do it and just barely tap it to get it loosened up. But that's not going to be the problem. The problem is going to be getting up under that thing. It's supposed to be a cover that has like 10 to 12 10 millimeter nuts, plastic nuts, that goes up under there to protect some of that stuff under there. Then you get to the filter housing, get that loose, take all that out, take the old filter out, have a pan to drain what gas is going to drop out of there, and then put the O-rings on the nut and put it up in there and reverse the process. Simple enough. That's not the problem. The problem is going to be what's it going to cost me physically to do it. So I'm still tempted to call my boys up there and see how much it would cost me to have them throw that thing in real quick. I'm hoping it shouldn't cost too much because it's a relatively quick and simple operation, especially for them. They could probably have it done 10, 15 minutes. So that wouldn't be a lot of labor. And since I've got the filter, that part's already bought. And I'll have to go through the rigmarole with them and tell them, I know you can't guarantee the part. I know that. But they like to make sure that you know that. Because that's part of the service. If you have them get the parts, they'll warranty the parts. If something goes wrong with that, they'll fix it. If you buy the parts, you're on your own. And I understand that. I'm not going to have them warranty something I bought. Because, they have something set up with who they buy parts from. So if they get the parts and they warranty the part and all like that, and you come out better because, if something goes wrong with the part, they'll fix it. I buy it, something goes wrong with it, I got to buy it again. And I understand that. I respect that. So anyway, the other day went to open the door, check on the kitties, and I saw this brown package laying on the porch. I was like, oh, okay, which delivery is this? And I picked it up, felt that way, and I said, oh, that's the sockets. Opened it up, sure enough, it's the sockets. But there's some big suckers. Make my fingers look small. So I've got that. But now I got to sit here and debate. I guess I need to call up there and see what it would cost for them to put it in. And then me and Elaine's sit and discuss our options on that. If it ain't too bad, I know which one she'll say. Not because she don't think I can do it. I think I can. But again, that's not the problem. The problem is going to be if I can't get myself under there and get it done. How hard a time is she going to have helping me get back up out of there? And how many months is it going to take me to get over it? So if I call them and it ain't too much, she'll tell me we're going up there. Ain't that right?
Pretty much.
So as bad as I want to be able to do it, I have to face the reality that it might not be in my best interest. But we'll see. I'll let y'all know which one is decided. So we got that going. She bought me some of those little steel wash rags. Now, I expected them to be more like a weave with flat steel. They're not. Matter of fact, I'll go get one of them.
Yeah, he saw them, said he liked them. Thought he'd like them. So I got them.
The ones I saw looked like flat steel done in a basket weave. This is the one she found and got me. Y'all might can see that. So I've tried one a little bit on the bottom of one of her pots. It cleans some of the stuff off. Now I might have to use it with some abrasive like Comet or Ajax or something like that. Might get better results. Because that's basically kind of like a steel wool thing. Just done differently. And to see how that goes. Of course, I did spray down a baking sheet and put me some biscuits on it this morning. Sprayed it down real good. And heated me up some biscuits. Having about 3 butter and jelly biscuits. And thought, well, okay, I done tried the pot. Let me try it on that pan. Now the grease that gets built up because of the baking spray, that took that off real well, real quick, real easy. Didn't leave none of it. Y'all know how sometimes that stuff gets stuck on there and you just can't get it scrubbed off. Well, that took it off real good.
Most of my pots, Melinda, have a steel base that are magnetic, so I can use them on my induction top.
Yep. And for those that she doesn't have that, she's got some little plates that she can put on her cooktop that will make it induction. So we got that. We got us another little tool for being able to do videos going down the road.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to show that off sometime. Next time we go, we get it set up, may have her show it to you in video before she puts it on it. That way y'all can see it. And it'll give you some distance and it'll go all kinds of directions. And nope, not copper. It is steel. There's all sorts of formulas put together, stuff showing that it'll clean that stuff right up. She sends them to me, never writes them down. We never get the stuff to do it and see if it does it. So, I guess maybe when she sends them to me, I need to write them down. Then I just have to get her to get it. That'd be another hill to have to climb. Well, it's true. So, let's see. Oh, yeah, we got, she bought us some little visor things hooked to the visors in the car to help with the sunlight coming through. They do real well.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned them on one of my last videos.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, they do real good. I like them. She does too.
Oh yeah.
You know, there's one point where we have to cross the road and the sun would be beaming right in your eyes. You can't see jack. She put that thing towards that side, looked through there. It's like, oh, wow, I can see, I can see, I can see. In spite of the sun. It's like having sunglasses on. It's just attached to your visor. And depending on how tall you are, will determine which side of the visor you'll put it on and adjust it and all like that. She has to put hers on with it one way so that it sits higher because she sits higher in the car. I sit lower, so I have to have mine another way so that it sits down lower. Because if I do it the way she does it, I'm sitting there going in between the line at the bottom of that thing makes, and I'm sometimes seeing it up here, sometimes seeing it down here. So I'm going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's a huge distraction. So I have to do it the other way so that it sits down lower and be like, oh yeah, this is nice. So, anywho. Let's see. What else we got going on?
Went out to eat Friday.
Yeah, we went out to eat Friday, 10th anniversary. Went to Outback, first time she's ever been. That blooming onion was good, but she fell in love with those mushrooms.
And mushrooms for the bomb.
You know, so if she had to choose between the two, the shrooms would be where she'd go.
Oh yeah. And the broccoli. Oh my God.
The broccoli was perfection.
That's the best broccoli I've ever had at a restaurant.
Even the stalks were so tender they about melted in your mouth. Then, of course, there was the bread. But now I'm going to tell y'all, folks, it's been about 15 years or so since I've been to Outback. I was a little disappointed in the bread. Because it used to be about twice the size that it is now. I'm just saying. But, you know, time, costs, expenses, prices go up, product size goes down. Yeah, bread and butter together. Oh, it's awesome, Melinda.
I ate a piece of the bread and left Piggy with the rest of it. And
She was making room for everything else.
well, if y'all saw my video, y'all saw what I brought home because what was in that video was what I brought home.
Yeah.
And I had 2 meals off of that prime rib after I got home.
And we still got more of those meals left in there.
Well, you got potato and part of your
Chicken and shrimp. Queensland chicken and shrimp Alfredo.
Yeah.
The Alfredo wasn't too bad, but I'm not a huge pasta man. The chicken was so about what you'd expect. It was nice and tender, don't get me wrong. And it only had a little touch of dry in it, which is going to be hard to get away from dry chicken. And she gave me a bite of that prime rib. Oh, man.
It was good.
It was medium rare. I would have preferred it medium, but it was medium rare.
Oh, yeah, I believe it. Definitely. It was worth it to get more than one meal out of it.
And
1, 2, 3.
I told Layton, I said, that prime rib right there could convert me from a chicken man to a steak man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here to tell you. Now I know why it is she likes prime rib so much.
It's good stuff. And when it's cooked right,
Right.
Like, Joyce about the picture said like it still had a pulse to it. But that's okay because after I stuck it in the oven in here, it was just perfect.
Right. But, yeah, that prime rib was something else. I still got more of my chicken and shrimp Alfredo in there, and
Yeah.
part of the tater.
Mhm.
That tater was slamming.
Yeah, so Piggy's had 2 meals out of his already. What he ate there at the restaurant and what he ate yesterday.
Johnny!
Hey, Johnny. So he'll have one more meal out of his, possibly
Yeah.
two. So yeah.
And some really nice people sent us something to be able to splurge a little bit better. And because of that, we was able to be very generous with our server.
We had an awesome service. Yeah, Johnny, prime rib is awesome.
And she was excellent.
I tell you what,
And
we had a question. She was right there, Johnny, on the spot with it, wouldn't she?
Yeah. And when Elaine handed her what we handed her for tip, she looked wide-eyed at me. Are you sure? I told her, I said, honey, I'm going to tell you what. I said, you doing all this? I said, you made it go fluid and quick. I said, you made it look easy. I said, and I know this job ain't easy.
Hey, Scotty.
So, no crowds. And good. So, anyhow, want to once again thank those very sweet people.
Most definitely.
For that little addition to that mission.
Hey, Scott.
Making Elaine's first time ever experiencing Outback really good.
Oh, it was. And y'all, I did
something.
something.
With the bros.
Yeah, I did something I don't ever do.
Yeah, I saw you get that turkey, Johnny. Think it was a short. Saw you kneeling down next to it. I was like, oh boy.
It took me an hour to drink it, but I had me a cocktail, and that's the first time since we've been together I've done that.
Folks, she's lightweight.
I is.
I just say that. If she hadn't had it with the meal, I'd have been having one of them in there help me get her out to the car.
But like I said, it took me an hour to drink it, didn't it?
Yeah.
Along with my Aussie Palmer.
Yeah. But the thing is even over an hour's time, and with food, she was feeling a little tipsy tip.
Mm-hmm. That's what, it's a full video. Oh.
Yeah. Okay, well, I thought I'd seen a short on it. I must have seen a thumbnail, Johnny, because I haven't got to watch a whole video yet. I'll be honest with y'all, I hadn't been too good at stuff. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of newsworthy stuff from people like Matt Morris, OK Rick, DeVory Darkins, The Officer Tatum, Benny Johnson, RJ Talks. Yeah, kind of keeping up with that stuff, see what's going on. And I'm almost ready to let that go because it's still the same old story. You know, most of you, I'd just be talking to the choir, preaching to the choir, because y'all already know. And everybody else are still TDS so bad, you know, they wouldn't be able to see the sun with it popping them right in the eyeball. And you can't tell folks like that anything. They've abdicated their own mind to repeat the talking points of their leftist overlords. And all right, Johnny. And all like that. Like I said, I've not been too good about keeping up too well on a lot of things. You know, because I've gotten real interested in the political stuff going on. And keeping up with seeing how things are going. I say it's going the way that we all voted for. You know, but I also see what the left is doing to try to usurp presidential authority and all like that. But I can only harp on it so much with those of you that do listen, because honestly, I'm just preaching to the choir, and everybody else can't teach them nothing because they ain't willing to learn nothing. They wish to remain willfully ignorant. Really, Johnny? Well, I'm not surprised YouTube does that. Of course, too, I'm probably a little bit shadow banned because I know that since I went political, they're probably shadow banning me, not putting me out there as much. Not that they put me out there a whole lot anyhow, you know, because YouTube is still tied to the globalist agenda. They've not got much choice now because all the ones that I mentioned that I listened to have been able to go full bore, and they're getting out there. These are channels that have like 400,000 or 500,000. Benny Johnson, he's closing in on 1 million. He's got more ratings and viewership than the mainstream media. Every once in a while, I listen to a little Joe Rogan. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I just saw the Gilman's Farms, Johnny. I'm sorry. But I think I am subbed up to the outdoors and more. And I like seeing that you get good stuff at those auctions and stuff. But Johnny, I'm going to be honest with you. My poor old ears just can't handle that auctioneer.
Hey, Teresa.
It just, it's that auctioneer to my ears is like a strobe light to my eyeballs. It messes me up. So I just kind of have to glance here and there, maybe what you got. And of course, I will say though, I watched most of the Jeep one, and I seen where you got that second one, so you can make 1 out of 2. Well, Johnny, the thing is, if I had a little money to spend, I wouldn't mind going to an auction, but I'd have to take somebody like you and tell you what it is I want and what I got to spend. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, that auctioneer would suck my wallet dry. Because they're good at what they do. Oh, you have 3 now. I'm going to enjoy seeing you get that finished up and see what it looks like. Because I love an old Willis Jeep. I love the old M151, M151A that I drove when I was in the Marines. Derek!
Hey, Derek.
Because I'm going to tell you, that old M151A I drove in the Marines, ounce for ounce, it's tougher than a Humvee. Ounce for ounce, it'll do better than a Humvee. Now, don't get me wrong, that Humvee is one bad mofo. It'll do some stuff. I would know. I got to drive one. They got the M151A's got phased out, and the Humvee's phased in a little while before I got out. So I got to drive a Humvee. I drove a Mark 138 when it was just a Jeep, and it called it Mark 138A when it brought in the Humvee. And I'm here to tell you, that 360 diesel inside that Humvee will make the non-armored Humvee like I drove go 100 mile an hour. Them big old treads on that thing, just whoa, make you sit there and smile. But yeah, if I went to an auction, I wouldn't mind going to an auction. If it was open air, I don't, those ones you go to inside that building, everything gets to reverberating off the walls and going back and forth, drives me nuts.
Hmm.
So if you don't, I don't comment much either. So, but if you don't see me comment, it's because I couldn't handle it, so didn't watch it. I love that you're able to go there and get stuff done, but I have no need for it. I ain't got the money for it no how. But even if I did, I'd have to see the list, and if it was going to be an inside auction, I'd have to see the list and pick out something. If I spotted something I wanted, pick it out and show it to you, and let you go in there and handle the business. Because, like I said, I'd get in trouble. So, yeah, happy Easter, all y'all. Yeah, I would. I'd get in trouble at an auction. I'd need to take somebody like you that is very familiar with how it goes. Oh wow, that sounds. Were they your actual boyhood rifles? If so, that'd be even greater. Or different ones, but the same make, model, all that. Either way, that's pretty awesome. Okay, same make, model, and all that. That's still awesome,
Mm-hmm. To be able to find something like that.
right? Because for you to put it that way, they must not be that prolific. Not that many out there to be available. So that's pretty awesome. But yeah, I like the idea of the auction, Johnny. Yeah, I got bad hearing anyway, and that's part of it. I've got tinnitus on top of that, and that's like a lot of the lives that go on. You got a bunch of you up on panel. Everybody goes to talking. I can't make hiding a hair out of what anybody's saying because my ears can't differentiate what's going on. So yeah, makes me feel like a crazy person with a bunch of voices in my head. So I just have to bow out, and so that's why I stopped coming to a lot of those. Yeah, I'm not one of those who grew up with a lot of people around talking like that all together at the same time. I'm the type of person that if you want to talk to me, you say something, I say something. You respond, and I respond. That way you have a nice civil discourse going on. And with debating things, it definitely has to be that way because when folks go to cutting you off and trying to talk over you, they're trying to win the argument by default by thinking if they talk loudest and most, they've won. They haven't. The only thing they've proven is they don't have a leg to stand on. They know it, so their only winning move is to get you to give up on them. It's like a very smart man told me one time. He said, I can win any argument as long as it remains logical and rational. Once you stop being logical and rational and start cutting off and talking over, there's no logic or rationale left. And that lets me know that you're lost. You've lost the argument, whether you want to admit it or not. You know, kind of like that uh, one that said it shows the pigeon dropping down on the chessboard, knocking all the pieces off, and walking around cocky like it won. No, it just made a mess of the board. And that's what people with no logic or rationale or deductive reasoning capabilities do when you hit them with the truth. I don't speak very quick, and I am slow to speak. Sometimes I have to remind Elaine, hey, take a breath so I can say something. But she'll say something, and I'm sitting there thinking about it because I absorb stuff, think on it, and then I'll go to respond. By the time I do, she's 5 minutes down the road with something else. I had to tell her, and every time I go to open my mouth, I start to speak, she cuts me out. And sometimes I had to tell her, I said, hey, slow down a little bit, take a breath so I can say something here. And I had to do that with a lot of folks. But that's because I think. That's why I said a lot of things, if I dare to speak it, sooner or later you'll find it comes out to be true. And that I knew what I was talking about. Because I am slow to speak. Because I am slow to absorb and think on it. So, you know, Rainy Ridge! Is that nose picker around you anywhere? Hello, Jesse. The jar. You flicking that little nose ring. Saw those videos showing you filming Eric out on that tractor doing a little bush hogging. And Johnny, I don't know if you call it brush hog or what. I've always known it as bush hogging. Oh, what's you cooking? Elaine's going to do a little something after I get done on here. Anybody know if Dale going live? I have no idea. I get caught up in that other stuff I've told y'all about and playing my game. Nachos. Ooh, yeah. Jason, just make sure there ain't no extra protein in there by them little flickers. If there is, just don't tell me about it. If anything goes with nachos having, it's usually beef. Did I get you with that one, Tina? Is Jesse back there in the background going, I'm going to get him? Anywho, what Elaine's going to do is going to be pretty good. Still kind of basic and simple, a little time consuming, but she's done a lot of the time consumption stuff already, so. You unable to comment on Tina's videos? Oh, that sounds good, Scotty. Huh. You go into your settings and check things out on that. If there ain't nothing on your end, it's on the other's ends. They need to check their settings too. When we went Friday, I actually put on a pair of jeans for the first time in many a year. A pair of 38s. We didn't know if I'd be able to wear them or not. They fit pretty good. They still had enough room to get a finger in between. But they ain't too bad. So I am losing weight. It don't really look like it a whole lot, but I am losing weight a little at a time. I attribute that to that moringa stuff we're taking. Well, it must not have been a whole lot of the ham there, Abbott, because I still got plenty to be cushioned with. I may have a big old butt, but at least it don't look like a couple of hogs in a sack trying to fight each other. Anybody with a big butt, I don't mean no offense. Of course, those of you I know that do, y'all ain't trying to wear that flimsy, stretchy stuff either. Trying to make yourself look respectable. I've seen some real where some big woman went into a restaurant in barely anything at all, very skimpy nighttime lingerie type stuff, leaned over on some kind of counter or half wall or something and started twerking all that. And it was like, dang, it looks like a couple of bulls trying to fight each other. Man, you don't nobody want to see that, especially in a restaurant. Do you know whether or not they're going live?
I'm looking. I don't think he is. I think it's probably going to be a family thing for them tonight. Easter with the kids, grandkids.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll be working on a video anyway, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I figure with it being a holiday, he probably won't go live.
No live today. All right. As said, there's an idea. May cooking collab, Piggy cooking videos. Well, that'd be interesting. I might get a laugh out of that. Unless you're talking about me doing something. I'm not a cook. Never claimed to be, don't want to be. I got a good cook in the house. I can help, but that's about as far as that goes. So, anywho, I guess that means Abby can get a good early start on his if he wants to, since Dale's not going live. But anyhow, y'all heard my thoughts. Y'all heard much of it before, and y'all heard a little bit about what we got going on, all like that. And like I said, I'm getting close to working it out of my system because, again, it's just like when I got in the fight on Facebook because of old Bum Bum. It's still the same old story, except it's just on video. You got people that you're preaching to the choir, and you got other people that are willfully ignorant. Y'all think about it. Piggy loves you.